Hey guys, xthedarkone here again with another discussion of Yu-Gi-Oh! While I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's just something I'm enjoying to do. Uh, because we're at the point of the story now where we have to do the flippity flip flip, where we have to do the deck tournament. I figured a good conversation to have would be because someone is to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Game again, the actual game. This time I want to talk about, as a title will probably tell us, when did Yu-Gi-Oh go wrong? Now the reason I want to talk about this today is because someone actually commented. I mentioned in the first video I'd mentioned how I don't like Blackwings. I'm really not a big. Oh shit! I was supposed to talk to her. I'm really not a big fan of them at all. Don't like Crow as a character, but I didn't like Blackwings way before he came along. The fact he used him was just like the sign that I didn't, I wasn't gonna like him. And someone actually left a comment on that video saying, would they want to see me use a Blackwing deck, and the genuinely asked went, why don't you like Blackwings? So it's not that I don't like. It's not just Blackwings I don't like. I mean, the designs, I don't really like the designs of the Blackwings for starters, but that's just my personal thing. But it's not just the designs I don't like. It's anyway, that's what I want to talk today about. And personally, the question is, when did Yu-Gi-Oh go wrong? And by wrong, I mean when did the game become broken, like ridiculously broken? And I think the downfall of I'm going to use because technically Infernities were drawing with. I've got a Chaz deck at the moment because that was currently the next highest, but Infernities was also next. Was also joined with Chaz. So to please everyone, I'm going to do Infernities in the deck tournament, and then I've got my Chaz deck for later. So I'll do Infernity deck for this time. Oh. That's so typical. He's using Blackwings. That is so fucking typical. Oh, that's you couldn't plan it. You couldn't time this shit. You couldn't write that. Seriously, I didn't even plan that. That's awesome. Anyway, this is why I don't like. This is where Yu-Gi went wrong for me. Yu-Gi went wrong for me in general. Okay, it's not a lot of it, and it's back when when Cybernetic Revolution came out. For those of you who don't know, Cybernetic Revolution was a Yu-Gi-Oh pack. Came out round time GX was sort of brand new, and it was in Cybernetic Revolution that introduced not only the Cyber Dragons, but we also had the fucking we had the Monarchs introduced, Treeborn Frogs, and all that crap introduced in Cybernetic Revolution. And that, to me, is when the game started to become a bit cheap in terms of, like... Because I never liked Cyber Dragons at the time. I'm not too bad with them now, because it's weird, because Cyber Dragons now are not like this ridiculously overpowered monster, because there's so many other ridiculously overpowered monsters that are out there. But, yeah, it's a case of... I don't know, it's just... when those cards came out, making a sort of an original deck kind of lost its meaning. A lot of the problem we have now, especially when it comes to tournaments as well. I do not play in tournaments because I use the term tech deck a lot, and I don't like tech decks. Decks are basically like the top tier decks that every fucker uses. They all get a fucking code. They all get a code. They all go to like fucking any Yu-Gi-Oh website and they find like some Grand Champions deck and fucking use that as to their own version and whatever. And they all copy the same like deck that's like top tier shit at the moment. And I don't really like that. I've always thought, and I'm gonna sound like I've stolen a line from the show here, but I've always felt that, when you make a deck, you make it your own sort of thing. Like I love character decks, and obviously that's, you can't, that's not making your own. You're using a character's deck. But I've got my own decks. My deck style, which is again a question that someone actually asked me in another comment. I think in the Ideal Yu-Gi-Oh game video, someone asked me what my kind of decks were, and I'm a big dragon fan. Love dragons. All the dragons, they're fucking awesome. So my deck types, most of my decks are all dragon themed. That might be why I like 5Ds as well, because obviously 5D standing for 5 dragons, and all the main central cards are dragons. So, but anyway, I've always liked dragons, and I like when I make a deck, I like it to, I like a theme. I like it to, I like it to fucking be fucking good in the sense of it. I don't like to just sort of pick, use that because use that because I want it to make sense. I want it to be themed. Like in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, you see characters who have themed decks, and they sort of all go in theme to their personality, what they're like and what they like and stuff. A great example would be Harrington, with his tennis deck. Could have made anything, but he loves tennis, so he made a tennis deck. And stuff like that top tier stuff just seems to not make deck all tournament decks are the same. I think people are like, yeah, I've got this list, but I've thrown in school servant because I'm quirky. No, you're not. It's still the same shit. You're just using you're just throwing in one extra card and made it different. But yeah, going back to Cybernetic Revolution is when I think the game started to become stupid, bro. Because it would get to a point where fucking you've got. Let's start with you've got fucking no monsters. I've got no monsters. Cyber Dragon, tribute it, Monarch, Treeborn Frog. Bring it back, tribute Monarch. And it's just to me that just makes the here's a good example. I love hard to summon cards like the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. One of my favourite monsters. It's it's considered a semi-hard card to summon, and I can do it it's no fucking big deal. And the thing about it is I can do that. I'll go through all this effort to summon these powerful cards. This hand is shit. I'll go through all this effort, to make what are the cards? Okay, I'll probably best something like that. I go to all this effort, getting the right combo of cards out to do this one awesome move to get this powerful monster, and then all it takes is for some dickhead to say, I'll play this, and it's it shits all over your hard work, really. Although all this strategy that I've put, I've put my own original spin and strategy into this, and to have it just shat on like that is just it's a bit soul crushing, which is why I don't enter tournaments anymore. Because I'll tell you a story actually. I did enter a tournament once many years ago at my local club. It was not a big tournament. It was just a regular tournament. So Blackwings are kicking my ass right now. I've not got a great hand to start with, but Blackwings are just fucking broke as dicks. But let's see. I need to get something to really see. How am I supposed to engage that? I can't do no. I've lost. I have fucking lost. But to be honest, this isn't really anything to do. Actually, no. The Blackwings are broke because it's only because I used that broken effect he was able to get rid of my fucking Necromancer. Anyway, as I was saying, at this tournament, I didn't get to the finals naturally because everyone was using tech, but the two people who were in the finals were using identical decks. In fact, they were identical. They were making pretty much all the same moves. That's how identical their decks were. They were one guy would make a move, then the other guy would just make the same move or a different, and it's just ridiculous. And then, see what I mean by that? I understand that Blackwings are all about swarming, but I fucking hate that. He's won now. Anyway, and they actually, I was watching a duel, and they actually were making stuff they're going, it's like dueling a mirror, and I was like, yeah, but you're using the exact same decks. Where's the fun in that? I don't have fun with that. When I know exactly, when they're making the same moves over and over again, that's not fun to me. Same sort of predictable moves. That's not a fun idea of a duel for me. I enjoy big moves, which is probably why I like character decks more now. I like strategies paying off. I like the idea of putting all my mind and my heart and my soul into making a deck. And I like the idea of fucking see, but this still just proves my point about fucking about Blackwings. They are bollocks. And I like putting a lot of heart and soul and work into cards comboing and different strategies, and then just to have them, and I like the payoff of pulling all that off, and then just having them shut all over by some dick. Right, a great example. Right, at the moment, Monarchs are back, as we all know. There's these super Monarchs, right? And at my club, there's a friend of mine, won't say his name, but he's still new to the game. He really is, and he's a lovely guy. I love him to bits. He's fucking awesome. But he's still very, very new to the game. And I think he'll agree that he's not the best duelist. He's not been playing as long as me, but he had this proper generic by the numbers Super Monarch deck, and we were dueling against him. Me and my friend Jace were dueling against him and our other friend in a tag duel, and I'm not gonna lie, he beat us. He kicked our asses with these Super Monarchs. But that's my point. This friend of mine is not the best duelist in the world. He's not Yugi fucking Moto, and I think even he would agree he's not the best. See, tell you what, I'm gonna use the Blackwing deck just to fucking prove it. I'm gonna use the Blackwing deck, right? And yeah, he just fucking wiped the arse with us because of how fucking easy they're foolproof, and I'm not saying my friend's a fool, but I'm saying that you could be a total. All you have to do is learn the basics and pick up a deck like that, and then you could duel a veteran and just fucking, because they all work. It's almost as if the game itself, these type of cards are dueling for you. You're just there to make the moves happen, but the cards are already beating you and assisting you in their own way. Oh, great, final countdown. And that's a great example of why I think cards now especially. I mean, back then, yeah, they weren't themed. It was Cyber Dragons and Monarchs and stuff. But now, I agree, Jacob. See, he's coughing with disbelief. Is our Jacob. But now we have Light Swarms, Blackwings. They don't, Blackwings. God, fucking else, all sorts. The Super Monarchs, the fucking there's so many. There's actually so many of these of archetypes, as they are called now, archetypes, that they all come out. They don't just come out with a few monsters for the set. They come out with monsters, accompanying spells, accompanying traps. They come out with a whole gang of cards that just all work together and just make them overpowered. Like you've got the new Buster Blader and the new Blackluster Soldier stuff that just go at you and don't give a shit about anything. If you control a battle monster within a lightning hand, you can just like so I'm going to summon that, and I should be able to special summon this now. Like that. Special summon. Now I can fucking special summon now. And what can I'll get? But yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying. It's just that, Pete, you don't have to like put any of your heart into a deck anymore. You just have to get all the cards for that set, put them all together, and then you just have to draw them and then do what the card says. It's like having a world champion just next year saying play that card, play that card, play that card. It takes no effort. It takes no strategizing or thinking about it. If you collect the cards and put them together, you have a powerful deck. You don't have to sort of go, oh, if I get this card, can I combo it with that card? And that to me is where Yu-Gi-Oh's kind of lost its heart. It's become very clinical in the sense of you have to, if you want to have a powerful deck, you have to play these cards as they are. They all come as they are, and it's just like, I don't know. I guess that's just my thoughts on the whole thing, because I remember back when Legacy of Blue Eyes came out, and Blue Eyes White Dragon was legitimately the strongest card in the game. Like, if you summon Blue Eyes, that's it. You were the king. There was only one card that could stop you, and that was Man-Eater Bug, and that was it. That was fucking it. Man-Eater Bug at the time was one of the only few cards in that set that could legitimately stop Blue Eyes. You also had 2-pronged attack, but you needed 2 monsters on your field for that to happen. A Trap Hole. I think Trap Hole was in like Legacy of Blue Eyes. If not, please correct me. But stuff like Mirror Force and all these powerful trap cards, they didn't come out until later on, until like Metal Raid and shit like that. Legacy of Blue Eyes was like you only Blue Eyes White Dragon was obviously the main card. Then you had the next strongest card was Trihorn Dragon, and that's just and the only thing swords came out in that as well. And I suppose back then you had to really if someone saw Blue Eyes, you were in the shit. You had to fucking really think about it. You really have to put your noggin in and go, right, how the fuck am I going to take this thing out? You had to fucking draw the right card and go, right, if I might be able to pull off a good combination here, and I might be able to win. And to me, and that just goes, yeah. And to me, that's kind of where Yu-Gi-Oh! You had to really plan more about your duels and shit like that. Black Whirlwind, what does that do? I can do something now, apparently. See, I don't even know, I'm just clicking. This is what I mean. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I don't really know. No, I won't chain anything. Play the card and your hand. Bless you. See, look at that. Alright, I'm gonna get this Blackwing now. And now I can actually special summon this fucking beast, I think. Yeah. Just summon that. And again, I get that these are all swarm, and I don't want people to think I'm just ragging on you for if you like Blackwings, if you like this type of play, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not a fan of it. I like dueling for fun. I don't. Naturally, when I'm playing a duel, I want to win. That's the whole. You want to win. That's the idea. But I don't want to make a deck that someone else thought up of. I like to make my own decks. I like to make things themed. So I have a dragon deck, so I like to keep it as dragon themed as possible. I've got a dark dragon deck, and there are a few cards that aren't dragons, but they're dark. I've got like a battle fader in there, but that's obviously it's a level 1 card, and it's basically to help me get out a dragon type, because if I have battle fader, I can summon my Delta Flyer, which is a dragon. Oh, bye-bye. Which is a dragon, and I can I can play that and get where was I going with this now? I can summon my Delta Flyer with my Battle Fader, Synchro summon to get, I forget his name, it's a new one I've got. It's a level 4 Synchro Dark Dragon Tuner monster that you can change the level of, which for my deck strategy is really good. So I was like, that was one exception, but if a level 1 dragon type monster that worked like Battle Fader or was like that came out, I'd take Battle Fader out and use that instead. Another good example would be I used to use a card called Totem Dragon, which is an Earth Dragon that could be acted as 2 tributes. And that was kind of my go. It was a good card because most of my dragons obviously being high tribute. I would use Totem Dragon. But the only problem with Totem Dragon is you have to have a fully themed dragon deck. For it to really work, because if you have any other card in your deck, in your graveyard that isn't dragon, you can't use its special effect to special from the graveyard, which is really good. And that never really bothered me because I kept my cards dragon based anyway. But then a new card came out called Keeper of the Shrine, and actually it's a level 4 dark dragon that can count as 2 tributes for a dragon, like Totem Dragon, and can be special summoned from the hand or graveyard if a dragon-type monster on any one side of the field is destroyed. So it's essentially a dark dragon, stronger version, because it's got 2100 defense, version of Totem Dragon. So I took Totem Dragon out and replaced it with a version of it that would be better themed for the deck, that would suit the deck. And that's kind of my point about fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a case of my favourite monster is Horus the Blackthorn Dragon. And again, I'm going to sound like a fucking like I'm taking a line from the show here. I really am. But to me, I've always felt like certain cards you get certain connections with. Like, for example, I got Soul of the Duelist. When Soul of the Duelist first came out, I remember buying a load of packs from HMV. He's playing with this thing over from HMV, I got a load of packs. I was fucking buzzing about it. So I got them. And one of the cards, the first pack I opened, and this was when Soul of Dudas first came out, so they were first editions as well. When they first came out, the first pack I opened had Horus the Black Flame Dragon level 6. Alright, baby. He's hungry. I think Tracy's doing him some food. Which Horus the Black Flame Dragon level 6. And I don't know what it was about this card that I really liked. I saw the design, I saw all of it, and I was just like, you know what? I really like this card. I really do. It looks really cool. And from that moment on, I always felt, and again, take the piss all you want, I don't care. I always felt this kind of connection with Horus. Like, I just sort of saw his card design, I just sort of fell in love with it, really. And from that day on, I really focused myself on using Horus. And one of my main cards decks is a Horus deck, and I'm constantly updating it with new stuff. You bubby, he's kicking the crap out of those toys. But here's the thing: if Horus were to come out now, in this day and age, he would be fucking. He'd have a ton of traps, a ton of magic cards that just worked him and just made him really powerful and easy to summon. Back when they first came out, yeah, LVs were new and they had a bit of support. They had like 1-2 spell cards that came out to give support. And Horus had one card, he had the Servant of Horus that was more support. But after that, it was fuck all, wasn't it? It was just a case of that's what I mean. Archetypes back then didn't get a great deal of support. You had to figure out your own combos, which is kind of why I like the archetypes of old. But then obviously, even with stuff like Cyber Dragons, they've brought more Cyber Dragon stuff out now to make Cyber Dragons piss easy to use, and that's kind of a problem with the game. I get that. I do get why. Okay, I'm not an idiot. I do understand that obviously new players who get introduced. It's like if you were like playing an MMORPG. Like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, if you could get fucking piss awesome armor. In fact, you can now on Final Fantasy, you can get awesome armor really early on, and that's kind of if you can get awesome gear straight off the bat and make the game easier to sort of get into much more easier. Let's try again. If the game's easier to sort of get into, i.e., if it's easier to get winning in a game, because if you're going to start playing a game and you constantly lose, you're not going to play that game for long because you're just going to keep losing. You can't get your head around it. But if you bring out cards that make it easier to win, easier to play the game without actually knowing more about the game mechanics, you just have to go, I do this with this card, okay, I just follow the instructions, then of course you're gonna want to stay in the game long. I understand why they've done it. They want new players to sort of stay in the game. And I do get that. I understand. They want to keep new players interested. But I'm going to use a dragon deck because I like the dragon deck. They want to keep the new players interested by giving them piss easy stuff. But it undermines the whole fucking game when you do that. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh, believe that. Oh, I've just loaded it back up from there. Okay. Right. Sorry, I've just had to go back and do the other two duels again. I did keep consistency up, but I deliberately lost to Nico this time, and I won the second duel. So I've kept the consistency. Right. I've totally forgotten where I was at right now. I think I was talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And how it's now shit. It's not now shit, but it's... Again, it just lost its whole point to me. It's lost something of its soul to me. When I was doing that friend of mine, I think I already said this, but it's just like when I was dueling him, I was just so bored. It was taking him like 20 minutes to do a move because he just kept having to re-explain things, and everything did like 4,000 things. And it's just like, to me, again, just like in the original series, in the anime, to me, a deck was something you put your heart and soul into in it. And the fact that now anyone could just pick up the right cards and make a deck that plays it. The decks these days play themselves. That's kind of what I'm trying to get across right now. Decks these days play themselves, and it's just a case of why do they play themselves? Why don't they not just be a tad more interesting than that? And I suppose all in all, that's my biggest problem with them. I mean, yeah, dragons, for example, will get a powerful card every now and again, like Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon here. He's arguably one of the best dragon cards out there. You know, he has made dragon dueling really, really easy and just very simplistic. She's using the Monarch deck, which if I know my Monarchs, this is probably going to be Treeborn Frog or something like that. It's going to be a frog of some kind. And if I'm right, that's kind of going to prove my point about these decks and about how predictable they are. But let's find out. Let's see if I'm right. If this card's Treeborn Frog or one of the frogs, then a frog. See what I mean? Do you fucking see what I mean? Because these frogs work with that Monarch deck. So that just proved my point that these decks are very predictable. I mean, obviously, these are structure decks, but they are themed. This is a Monarch deck. And it's essentially ways to get cards out to get Monarchs. And frogs combo with those Monarchs. So, you know, that's kind of just proved my point how decks can be very predictable. And I don't know, what do you guys think? I mean, first of all, let's talk about what are your favourite cards? And have you, like me with Horace, have you guys had a connection? Have you felt a connection with a certain card as you've drawn it, you know? And if so, what is it? And, you know, when did you have this connection? Be very interesting to hear. I will chain my Starlight Road. Fucking off, and I can specimen Stardust Dragon from my hand. See, this is the kind of deck I would have in real life, a dragon deck that's themed. It's all dragons, they all work with each other, and they're fucking awesome, aren't they? So, you know, why can't... But if I were to take this to a tournament, I'd get my ass kicked, because everyone would be using tech shit. I mean, I like to say that my decks, not only my decks, but my dueling abilities can make me a match for some tech deck stuff, but luck does play into it as well. Like, I think I'm not sure I've told this story or yet to you guys, but I'll tell you. I might have said it on Team X Force, but I'm going to say it here because it's something I'm really proud of doing. I was dueling my friend who was doing at the time was using Shadows, which at the time, I mean, they still kind of are top tier, but they was using Shadows at the time. And again, Shadows is another example of just a deck type that you just get. You don't need to combo anything with it. You just it's like it comes with all the set comes with cards that will just make the set. All you have to do is buy a couple of boxes that has that set in, and you can essentially make a powerful deck with it. So yeah, he was using Shadows, and I was actually using my Kyber deck, and we were having a duel, and sat across. He's a Yu-Gi-Oh judge, but he also is very much a tech player. He gets a lot of tech stuff, and he enters tournaments, and he runs tournaments as well. He's a really cool guy, but like I said, that's just how he plays. Anyway, he was playing Shadows, and I was actually using my Kyber deck, as I'm not sure I mentioned. And I sat across from us, next to us on another table, were a bunch of other players. They're all tournament players. They're all tech players. They're not like, you know, but they love big moves as well, like I do. And I was dueling my friend, and we got to a thing where, oh shit, I don't have a fucking. All I can hope. I want to bounce my own card back. Yes, fuck off. We dueled. Anyway, in this duel, I actually managed to get out Blue Eye Shining Dragon against him, and I made a big scene about it. I announced it and everything. And I was like, I summoned Blue Eye Shining Dragon. And I got it out, and the guys over at this other table would just go. They heard me say Blue Eye Shining Dragon. They looked over and they're like, Blue Eye Shining Dragon. and they were genuinely sort of impressed. They were like, oh my god, that's amazing. One of them was even saying, I've been trying to summon that card for years, never done it. And to be honest, mate, that's like the third time today I've summoned that card, and it really had been the third time. So essentially, I dueled him, and I did win. I beat him, because all the shadows mainly flip effects, and they all target, and he just could not get off any of his effects against my Blue Eyes Shiny because they all target. So I was just like, no, negate it, negate, destroy it. Can't do anything. No, I don't do that. And yeah, he was just totally. I could say I beat him, and oh no, it was a fun duel. But again, it relied mostly on luck. I mean, to get the Blue Eyes shining out is ace and everything, and it's definitely the reason I won. But again, to have that, I mean, luck does come into it. But obviously, the deck was designed to help make that happen. But it was something that I was able to do because it was a combination of good luck and the deck that I built. I put the cards in, I made the strategies, I built the deck to do that. And that was the big payoff to beat this, high tier, this top tier deck. It was a big payoff for me. It's a very proud moment in my dueling life. So, and obviously, we didn't duel again after that, but I bet if we did, he probably would have beaten me because he had the top tier deck and he would have beaten me. I can hold my hand up and say, I had the right cards at the right time to get Shining out. But I like to think against top tier stuff, I can hold my own. I mean, I'm pretty sure my Dark Dragon deck, which is kind of my main deck, could probably take on some top tier stuff. It's got a lot of negation there, a lot of power swarm, and I genuinely think that I could hold my own against some pretty good decks. Because obviously I know how they operate. Like, if I dueled my friend one-on-one with one of my main decks, I'd probably beat it, or I could be. I'd probably stand a good chance of beating it because I know how that deck plays. He doesn't know how my deck plays, so he has no idea what to expect. Yeah, I've seen his deck, and I was like, right, I know exactly what that deck plays. It's very by the numbers. So I know exactly what that deck's all about. So it's just one of those things where I could probably figure it out and just go off with my own deck and eventually win. But that's just the way it is, But again, to me, going back to when do I think Yu-Gi-Oh sort of started losing its again, I thought it started losing it at Cybernetic Revolution, because that's when this kind of stuff was introduced. This kind of a lot of broken cards, but they're not as broken when you compare them to stuff that's coming out now. It's just so much broken stuff coming out. I mean, even more Blue Eyes stuff's coming out now. Like, I reckon all this new Blue Eyes stuff that they're bringing out, I think it's going to fucking be stuff that Kaiba uses in the new movie. So like the new Blue Eyes fusions, the new Blue Eyes White Dragon type. And again, and I like that because it's trying to make Blue Eyes relevant again. So I kind of like that they're bringing out more Blue Eyes cards, but at the same time, I kind of don't want them to make Blue Eyes so powerful that all these tech deckers are going to start going after Blue Eyes. But here's the thing about tech deckers, and it's something that's actually very predictable about. It's another aspect of them that's very predictable. It's just, something I can figure out. It's like when I wanted to make one of my character decks is a Declan deck. From Arc V, he uses the DDD monsters. That's what he uses. And to me, I wanted to make a Declan deck. He used the DDs, but unfortunately, the DDs are fucking powerful. So naturally, when they first came out, all these tech deckers wanted to make DDs. So they did, and it was hard for me to get the deck together, but I knew at the time because tech decks are very predictable. They will do a tech deck, they'll make it, and they'll use it for about 3-4 weeks, maybe a couple of months, until the next tech deck comes out, or a new ban. It's either a new deck archetype or a new deck of a new ban list comes out, something like that, and then they'll go, oh, well, there's this new type out now. I don't want DDs now, I want to run that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to have different they basically want to have the best they want to use the best decks as they come out. So it's a case of, I wasn't too bothered because people are like, okay, DDs are out now, all these guys are using them, but to be honest, in a few weeks they're going to not give a shit about it, so I'll wait. I'll bide my time, wait till they sort of get phased out and become irrelevant, and I'll just swoop in and get what I need. And that's kind of in that regard, people are very particular. Like when the Red Eye stuff came out, every fucker wanted all these new Red Eye cards came out. Every fucker wanted them. And again, I like that there is more Red Eye stuff. I'm planning on making a Red Eye stick myself, but again, I'm kind of annoyed that they're kind of making. I don't want Red Eye to be. I don't want Red Eye to be broken, because it's just like I become everything I hate. Then that's why, for example, I'm using Malefic Red Eyes in my Red Eyes deck because it's a Red Eyes monster. So I'm going to use a Malefic Red Eyes. I'm going to fucking throw that thing in. I'm using a Malefic Blue. I'm going to use a Malefic Blue Eyes in my. Jason and I we have inspired. We have our character decks, but we have our character inspired decks as well. And I've got a Kyber inspired deck, which is all inspired deck is basically a card or cards that are either inspired by or feature or have cards that say Kyber. So for Kyber inspired, any card that has a card that Kyber uses, I can have and use in my deck. So Triggered Summon has Battle Ox and Celtic Warrior, so I can use it in my Kyber inspired. Jace can use it in his Yugi inspired, and just stuff like that. And with these new Blue Eyes cards and Blue Eyes support coming out, that's gonna be my deck, because Jace's Yugi inspired deck is all the new Gaia stuff, the Buster Blader stuff, the new Blackluster Soldier stuff. So when the new Blue Eye stuff comes out, that's going to be mine. I've got a sort of version 1 of the inspired deck, which is kind of alright, but I'm waiting for that stuff to come out. And again, yeah, Blue Eyes is going to be. I suppose I'm a bit of a hypocrite, because I'm glad Blue Eyes is getting this stuff that's going to make Blue Eyes relevant again. But at the same time, I'm a bit pissed off because people are now going to only take, people are only going to start giving a shit about Blue Eyes again because it's relevant. Because it's like, oh well, Blue Eyes is now strong again, so I want to use it. Glory supporters, that's the best way. That's the best way. You may have liked Blue Eyes, but you never made a Blue Eyes deck. You never gave a shit about him when he was shit. But now he's coming back with powerful archetype. Now you want to use it, and I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it annoys me where people are like wanting to make these decks. Like when the Critias stuff was coming out, I've been waiting for Critias to come out for fucking years. And this one kid who hated my character. Well, he didn't hate my character. He was like, oh yeah, Kyber decks, they're shit. But then when Critias was announced to come out, and all the Critias cards were coming out, which would make Critias awesome, he was like wanting to know what my deck build was, because he was like, oh, I'm going to make a Kyber deck now so I can use Critias. I'm like, fuck off, you Glory supporter. But anyway, all in all, Cybernetic Revolution to me is when I felt the game started to lose its soul. Now it's very much a shell of its former what it used to be. It's not the same. I don't go to tournaments because I just don't think they're fun to watch anymore. I don't want to watch these two guys play these decks that they didn't design. They've just fucking took the idea from whatever else, or they've just basically, took the cards that the game is. The decks play themselves. They've not come up with those combos, and I don't know. Maybe I'm being silly. Again, I mean, if you like, I just want to point out, if you guys like that, if you guys like playing the cards and you don't agree with me, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's not how I play. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! To have fun. That's why I mainly play character decks. But I still like to build my own unique decks, some more original concepts and stuff. Keep them themed, keep them sort of, this is what they are. I will use dragons, so I will keep them as dragons. So, you're not wrong. It's just that's just my opinion. And again, if your idea of fun is playing those kind of duels, then fine. That's you're not wrong. It's just how that's your idea of fun, and that's totally fine. It's not my idea of fun. If I genuinely get to the point now where I go, what kind of deck do you use? And they just say something like, oh, I use Super Monarchs. I go, no, I'm not gonna do it. I've even said to my friend who uses a Super Monarch, well, I'm not being fun, because he actually has like a spellcaster deck, which is awesome because we kind of helped him build it. But it's a fun deck to use because it's something he's made himself. But he insists on using these Super Monarchs, and I've just turned to him and said, listen, mate. Not saying you can't use Super Monarchs, you absolutely can. You like them, by all means use them. It's your life. I'm not going to tell you no, but I'm not going to duel them because I want to duel to have fun. I don't want to duel and just be sat there bored out of my mind as someone does the same shit every single move, every single turn. It doesn't interest me. It's not something that I would like to play. I don't want to sit there and go, Okay, you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna do like I've played people like that, and I've actually said their moves before they've done the move. I'm like, right, look, oh, I'm gonna, and I was like, don't tell me, sacrifice that for such and such, play such and such, and play such and such, and you go, yeah, I am, and they do that, they do it exactly as I said they're gonna do it. And it's like, that's predictable. I knew you were gonna do that. And then next turn, he was like, what are you gonna do about that? Completely flip it around. My next turn after I basically said what he was gonna do. I basically turned it round, summoned fucking 5-headed dragon, red dragon archfiend, and fucking Stardust. Bish bash bosh, didn't give a shit. And went, there you go, that's what I'm doing. Wiped him out with it. And he was like, oh, okay, fuck. So, that's just my 2 cents on it. Cybernetic Revolution, to me, is when Yu-Gi-Oh! Started to become a bit stale in terms of, how the game works. But now it's even worse. There's so many bad archetypes out there now, and again, that's just my opinion. That's what this is. That's just me talking about what I think about the game as it is. I still enjoy playing it, and even some of my characters like Jack Atlas, my Jack Atlas deck now is insane because I have all the resonators in it, all the cards he uses in the manga that are now out, all the new Red Dragon stuff. I have all that, and that Red Dragon deck is fucking powerful now. A part of me thinks I could take that to a tournament and do pretty well. So on that one hand, I suppose I am being a bit of a hypocrite, but on the same time, I'm only using cards that Jack Atlas himself has used. So could Jack be a tech player? Who knows? Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you have a special card that you saw one day and went, that is the card for me. I want to make a deck around this. And do you still have that card? Because I still have my Horus. I have a Horus Ultimate Rare First Edition Horus playset of all the forms, and I use them all in the fucking ace. But do you have a card that you have that sort of connection with? Do you agree with me? Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh's more about having fun, about making your own ideas, putting your heart into the deck, or do you think it's about just taking the techiest stuff, using it, and winning it? What's more important to you guys? What is your favorite cards? When do you think Yu-Gi-Oh lost its soul? Even you do think that? Even if you don't think that, let me know. Let me know if you think Yu-Gi-Oh still the most original, awesome, perfect game that it was when it first came out. I don't think it is, but if you guys think it is, put that in the comments. This isn't about having an argument. It's about having friendly discussions about the game we all love, and that's why we're all here. So by all means, comment in the comment below as well. Keep voting for the decks. I didn't get to use my Chaz deck. I'll be using that next time. I'll be using Chaz decks next time. But again, keep voting because again the votes carry on over from all the previous videos. And I do tally them all up. I can't even get the fucking bit that I've got. So Chaz deck is next. Infernity decks is joint. Then I got Cloudians, Moki Moki, Light Swarm, Gravekeepers, Yugi, Cyrus, and Synchron all have 1 vote each. So if you want any of those, or you want your own type of deck, leave it in the comment below. Open your own discussions. But again, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. We're all here to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! All here to talk about having, we all love it. We all want to have our own ideas about it. If you're going to be a dick, I'll just remove your comment. Doesn't bother me. Don't give a shit. So have a fun time in the comments below. Talk to your heart's content. Let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about. That you want me to talk about. We can open it up in discussion. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And again, to answer that question about Blackwings, I think Blackwings are shit because they represent that bollocks. And I don't like the designs either. Anyway, have a good time, guys. And I shall see you next time. Bye-bye.